On a graph, when we talked about that whole Nelson and his piggy bank thing, the rate of change you guys said was he spends $5 a week. When you graph it, you had something like this. Right, it was linear, but every week, how much did it go down? Every week it went down $5. Whoops. Okay, that's called the rate of change. If you guys are talking about miles per hour, how fast can you travel down Route 3?
55.
55 miles per hour, 1 hour.
Actually 60.
So the rate of change is 50 over 55 over 1.
But 60.
Well, yeah, you're not going to get a ticket. So on a graph,
Hey, you,
it's the,
you don't really get a ticket for doing 60.
depends how what the mood the cop is.
If the cop is like very like upset.
On a graph. Okay, on a graph, it's how fast it changes.
Yeah, I can't read that.
Yeah, I'm trying. How fast something changes. I gotta do something better about this.
How fast it changes?
Yeah. And it's not always speed. With that first problem, it was $5 per month. I have to pay a mortgage of say $1,000 per month, 1,000 over 1. You guys may have a job and you get paid $6.56 per hour. That's your rate of change. All those things. Your classes, you have one class per 90 minutes.
That's never.
No, but that's your rate of change. You have one class per 90 minutes. Okay, you guys have this. Even though it's written horribly.
No.
Okay, what is it? They also talk about this. And we're going to spend a lot of time on this.
Cool, let's spend it right now.
Well, no, we'll spend about all of November on this. Rise over run.
Oh, rise over run. Oh, yeah.
Well, they didn't change since last year, Michael. That hasn't left out there. Now, you new ninth graders, have you heard of rise over run before?
No.
Have you heard it before, Ashley? Slope? You heard of slope before? Okay, so it's basically, you've never heard of rise over run? Okay, that's fine. How do we find it? All right, when we were talking about initial condition, this was the initial condition. That's where it started. Now, we got to find that, we want to find the rate of it. How fast something's going, what's the dollars per month, dollars per hour, whatever it happens to be. The number in front of the x, whatever that number in front of the x is, that's going to be your rate of change. What's the rate of change of that one? What's the number in front of the x? Look at the problem in the middle here.
3.
3, so that's your rate of change. It's just plain old 3. 3 something, we don't know what that something is. Now on the table, this gets a little difficult. So you guys, Michael, don't be like my first period class. How do you go from 10 to 8?
Go by 2.
Okay, add and subtract.
Add.
Minus. So go from 10 to 8, 10 minus 2 is 8.
Oh, I thought you said from, oh wait, never mind.
How do I go from 8 to 6? Same thing, minus 2. If you go through each of these, 6 to 4 is also minus 2. The rate of change is the same thing for all of them. All right? Now, if you look at your x's, how do you go from 0 to 1? You guys tell me plus 1. Increase by 1 or plus 1. If you go from 1 to 2, it's also plus 1. If you checked each of these, you would find each one you would add 1 to. Okay, you with me so far on this? So your rate of change is, we're going to use this symbol, delta y. Okay. You guys probably don't know what delta means. That means change. So you change in y over your change in x. This is the first formula you got to learn. 1 of 2, really. Delta y, triangle y over triangle x. And that just means you change in y. And when how did I change my y's? I went down 2. So minus 2 is on the top. Don't worry if you don't understand all this stuff yet. You'll get it in time. That's my change in y's. my change in X is also positive 1, because I did it over here. You guys got that? Yeah. That's why I'm doing. That's why I'm putting it up here. So if I'm asking for this table, what is my rate of change? It's negative 2 over 1. I don't expect you to get this perfectly yet, but this is, for a big chunk of the rest of the year, it's what we're going to be working on.
This your middle.
And the last is on the picture. I'm on erasing. The last one on the graph. So you can take a look at the equation, and the number in front of the X is going to be your rate of change. Look at your table. We spent a lot of time on this. You're changing your Y, will be changing your X. And with the table, if you take a look at this, you can make little steps. You start where it crosses right here, and I'm going to make a step. I'm going to go up 1, and how many do I go over? 2. So this graph is different than this table. They're not the same thing. So I would go up for this one. That's my rise. Rising to go up, and then you run over 2. So Zach remembers this one. This one is a rise of 1 and 1 and 2. Michael, is this familiar to you?
No.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
I like it, though.
That's fine. You don't have to like it. All right, you guys get this a little bit. Jake, you get this a little bit?